spoiling the ending by saying I love Alien Frontiers. I love it. I love it. I love it. My girlfriend loves it. All my friends love it. I hadn't been convinced to love it. I saw it played once, fell madly like Tom Hanks in every film with Meg Ryan. Lightning struck to a Shakespearean degree. It was a combination of easy game mechanics coupled with an elegant sci-fi theme. It's not perfect, and one so enamored should not be ignorant of its shortcomings. But many of these have been resolved by the game's largest and most important expansion. The irony of this adoration connects Alien Frontiers to another game through its ultimate goal, though approaching said goal with vastly different mechanics. However, before the reveal of that game, I must offer the provision that I am against the common opinion in that how do I put this? Utterly despise this game. That opinion is not shared. We were recommended it by someone that claimed it was one of the best games he had ever played. These two games, despite featuring different methods, reach a nearly identical win state, demonstrating that the destination need not matter if the journey were vexing. So, let's get this over with. Mission Red Planet. I know, the hate will flow. And once again, stressing this is my subjective opinion based on numerous plays. The two games involve identical win states. Both feature planets separated into various regions on which players employ the game's mechanics to place their colors tokens, whether they be astronauts or colonies. Once placed, these tokens can be removed and shifted, and by the end of the game, players receive points based on who has majority control of each region. Mission Red Planet utilizes a set of 9 cards numbered accordingly. The first player has one duty: to run the countdown from 9 to 1. When your selected card's number is announced, reveal it, carry its instructions, mostly involving the placing of your color's astronauts in one of the docked ships. As you might have figured out, the lower numbers carry significant amounts of risk, as the rockets may take off or be destroyed before all players have had their chance to have a turn. There are several cards with the potential to either completely deny another player progress or carry the risk that the selected card would be useless when the number is announced. What I find odd is that the skip a turn mechanic is almost uniformly vilified in modern gaming, even when turns are effectively limitless between low player count games. Mission Red Planet goes to 5 players, and to make the situation even worse, it has a limited number of rounds. Meaning, if you're knocked out of one, your chance of victory greatly diminishes. I'm honestly surprised this game is as popular as it is. I'm not saying I like Mission Red Planet despite flaws. I'm upfront in my declaration that I hate this game. Thus the irony in my contrary emotions regarding a game with, as said previously, features an identical win state. Now, switching over to the positive, Alien Frontiers is superbly easy to set up and play. Lay out the game's 2 resources, cover each sector with its matching tile, and give each player their colored box. Oh my god, I love these! These are adorable! Not a penny zipper bag, but a customized, personalized box, like a Cracker Jack container or a Kinder Surprise. Inside are your 6 dice, equating your ships used in the game, along with your point token rocket ship and your 8 colonies. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 9. 9 colonies? That's weird. And yes, these are awesome. Not overly detailed, but the clear plastic bubble is a nice touch. They did not have to implement this, and I'm just sorry. The game ends when a player places their last colony upon the planet. Each player begins with 3 dice and 1 random alien technology card. At the beginning of a turn, dice are retrieved and rolled. They are then placed at matching locations of the player's choice. Dice placed are persistent, potentially locking options off for future players. Options are limited based on player count, forcing players to alternate strategies on each turn. Admittedly, the symbology can be somewhat confusing. If you roll doubles, you can pay 1 of each resource at the shipyard and gain an additional ship/die for your next turn. Each additional die costs 1 additional resource of each type. Roll triples, pay 3 ore at the colony constructor, and place 1 colony anywhere on the planet. Roll sequentially numbered dice at the raider outpost and steal any combination of 4 resources or 1 alien tech card from other players. Any combination of dice adding to 8 or higher can be placed at the alien artifact to gain 1 of the 3 alien tech cards on display, which are then immediately replenished. You can place any die in the solar converter to gain solar energy, equal to half the value on the die rounded up. You can place a die at the lunar mine and gain 1 ore, though each additional dice must be of equal or higher value. Place a die with a value of 6 at the terraforming station, paying 1 of each resource to deploy 1 colony, though doing so consumes that ship, returning that die to the supply. This action is not available if you have 3 or less dice. Doubles can also be placed at the orbital market, paying the value on 1 die in fuel to gain 1 ore. And finally, a player can always place up to 3 dice on the colonist hub of any value. The first die adds a colony with each additional die, pushing the colony closer to deployment. Finally, a player can spend 1 of each resource to deploy that colony. Because dice are not reclaimed until the beginning of a player turn, players can lock out other players from using certain options. But no matter the situation, there has never been one where dice cannot be placed. There are a few cases where dice can be removed or temporarily hijacked. In the case of the Smuggler Bay, you can push out a rival's dice if your sequence of dice is higher than the previous. There's an obvious and unavoidable strategy to gain as many dice as one can get as soon as possible. It does offer an edge, though it is not a guarantee of victory. Another critique is the limited number of available points. Area Control offers 8 points, with 2 alien tech cards and 1 field generator able to add 1 point. For a total of 11 points, players can fight over, in addition to receiving points for each deployed colony. And that's it. This is where the expansion comes in. Factions. Such a necessity that it makes one curious if one should acquire this game without it. It almost feels like DLC for a PC game that was removed just to be sold later. It's that mandatory. These add character cards for players, offering a permanent bonus along with an additional location to add dice. Players can use your location, but must pay a fuel fine to do so. There are additional tech cards, but also secret objective cards with both an in-game and an end-game objective. Each player gains 2 at the start and can acquire more later. Each one can be claimed once, adding more available points to the game. Factions also adds a 5th player, which I would avoid as its inclusion will result in potentially one player not having a spot on the colony ladder. This total package places Alien Frontiers as not only my favorite die placement game, but also one of my favorite games, period, easily in my top 10. Now, adding in the Factions expansion solves many issues the core game suffers from. The only option I can offer for alternative play come via a potentially solo/cooperative variant, or perhaps even a one versus all variant. Solo/co-op. I initially thought that a game with die placement would not work for cooperative play. Then I got inspired with the idea that worked in limited testing did not require physical modification, though does add some additional rules. Firstly, remove the Alien Monument and Alien City cards along with the 3 blank Alien Tech cards included in the game. You can rename them as Alien Ziggurat, Alien Tomb, Alien Relic, or anything else. These are the objective cards. Draw and reveal 3 non-objective Alien Tech cards, then 1 for each player as normal. Then draw 8 more, add and shuffle in the 5 objective cards, and form a draw pile. The remaining cards are returned to the box. Place 8 of these cards face up next to the board and cover each with a region tile. Rockets are used but are no longer tracking player points. Instead, place 1 at 14, 10, and 6 points. Give another to a random player to indicate first player. This alien world, which we'll call Altair, is teeming with advanced alien technology. 200,000 years ago, the native population, the Krell, vanished, leaving their knowledge and technology. The first research outpost discovered a massive internal machine hidden within the planet, more than 8,000 cubic miles in size, and powered by more than 9,000 nuclear reactors. Upon activation, it immediately began resisting attempts to reveal its secrets. It is the mission of the United Affiliations of Earth to land research teams, decipher the alien technology, and gain control of the machine residing within before the planet's counter-reactions destroys all life on the surface. Claiming a region not only gains a player that tile, but also unlocks the card it covers up. If revealing an objective card, the group is one step closer to victory. If not, it gets shuffled into the draw pile. One difference between this and a standard game is that the required number of research stations to unlock a region is dependent on the number of players. For solo, it's 1 station. For 2, it's 2. For 3 players, it's 3. For 4, it's 4. In this variant, no matter the number of players, each one receives all 8 colony tokens. To complete the game, the following criteria must be met. All colonies for all players must be deployed, and 2, all 5 objective cards must be uncovered. And there is a countdown. When play returns the first player, move the highest rocket counter down, then shift the first player marker clockwise to start the next round. As said, the planet will be fighting back. Before the first player starts his or her turn, roll 4 dice, those from the unused 5th player. These are placed on the board to prevent certain actions that round. When the round counter reaches another rocket, remove that rocket and add an additional die. Dice are placed in order as follows. If rolling triples, place them on the colony constructor, and the 2 highest colonies on the hub each drop by 1. If rolling 3 sequential, place them on the radar outpost, and the group must sacrifice any combination of 4 resources. If with 3 players, 1 alien artifact must be returned to the draw pile, and if 4 players, both resources and alien tech must be sacrificed. If doubles, place them on the shipyard, and the highest colony on the hub drops by 1. Any dice left over are placed in increasing order on the lunar mine, though no resources are removed. Alien dice are never placed on the alien artifact, orbital market, solar converter, or the colonist hub. Of course, in the spirit of cooperation, although dice cannot be mixed on placement, they can be placed to help other players in acquiring additional dice to advance and place colonies, and so forth. Resources are not shared. If at the end of round 0, if the win conditions have not been met, all players lose. 1 versus all. This variant involves 1 player controlling a rival faction already in control of the alien machine. This variant, by the way, has only been tested in a 1 versus 4 game. The counter once again starts at the top, though discard the others along the tracker. The rival faction cannot pay to use opponent boards, and likewise. The rival begins with 3 dice but no colonies. He or she can acquire fuel and or ships the same way as normal, but instead of acquiring colonies, this rival can acquire the means to prevent the other players from succeeding. Namely, these blocking squares that were included in the game for lower player count games. Instead of a colony, the rival gains a 1 square, which can then be placed anywhere where a single unconnected square can go, so not in areas with equal signs or +1 symbols. Alternately, the rival can place the square on their faction board, gain another 1 square, and it upgrades to a 2 square, now allowing that blocker to be placed in any 2 square area. Remain on the faction board, gain a 3rd square, and upgrade it to 3. Remember, blocking a section blocks it for everyone, including the rival. The other players obviously will want to prevent the rival from locking the board off and preventing victory. If the players have not deployed all their colonies by the end of the game, they have lost and the rival wins. Alien Frontiers will always remain a permanent addition to my collection, and I hope I continue to enjoy it for years to come. Although requiring at least 1 expansion to make it complete, the total package is still a reasonable cost. I would place Alien Frontiers way higher than many of the other games my friends or coworkers rate higher. Although well regarded in many circles, I still think it deserves more credit. I love this game so much, I've been tempted to pick up those rocket dice for use on the opposite side of the board. Almost, but not quite. This is Chris from Deus Ex Machina.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.